Greetings! You are watching Septum Sen versus the World. I'm Septum Sen. This is Kotobuki Jake.
Right.
And we are in the middle of our Christmas and holiday extravaganza. So, instead of our normal 1 week worth, we're releasing 2 weeks worth of pickups. So you can see our greatness that we have managed to get in the varying sales and so on. Because of that, we'll forgo a lot of the news. Other than I think there's a couple of sales. Right Stuff's going into week 4, which is their final week. But you should watch them because they like to pull some shenanigans towards the ends of their sales.
Yeah.
There are a couple that I wish I had snagged that have gone. That one Fuse that you got, for a while it looked like it was going to stay. It's going out of print.
Yeah.
And it's disappeared entirely off the site.
I actually looked for that as a possible present, and it was gone.
It just...
That was a heck of a price, $12.50 for a premium NIS set.
It didn't even say it's normal out of print. It just...
Yeah.
Poof, it's gone. But I've done my last order with them, and probably my last order for a long time. So
I'm hoping for me too, although yesterday's mega deal had me tempted. And of course Sentai is still doing stuff, and Sentai pulled a really cool sale over the weekend that I jumped on. But if they do another one, I may have to do one more Sentai sale. Their sale is running through, the first week of January?
Yeah. Sentai is going to be heavy through this because I ended up getting that today, and I'm just throwing through it now.
Yeah, and I'm going to be kicking off with a Sentai release here in a minute. I do want to comment briefly on viewing for the week because it's been very interesting. I revisited 2 movies that I've seen before. I revisited A Horse Whisperer, and it was pretty good. Second viewing was good. Actually, one of Scarlett Johansson's more impressive performances, I think. And then, of course, I've done very little holiday viewing, but I did sneak in White Christmas last night.
Very good.
Classic, worth a viewing. If you've somehow never seen it, make this your year to see it. And 2 new ones. I saw a movie that I went in knowing what to expect. I found it very interesting and unusual and worth a look, and ultimately very disappointing and way too long.
So that was Star Wars. What was the other
No,
one?
I was going to say, and then I saw Star Wars. Actually, everything I just said kind of applies to Star Wars The Last Jedi, but for everyone who has said that to me, I've been like, watch A Ghost Story. The film is 96 minutes long. They could have cut 5 of those minutes and the movie wouldn't have changed a damn bit. Except it would have been shorter. And, oh man. Okay, I've just got to make a comment here. We were doing a movie game, but we really don't get to do it because time issues. Where we would show each other's movies from our collection. And I came up with a movie rating system where it was artistic value, entertainment value, overall importance, and personal importance. And artistic value had a slightly highest over entertainment. They were the 2 main ones. And he came up with a rule where the only person who could get 10 for art is Federico Fellini.
Exactly.
Because Fellini was the only one pretentious enough.
Yes.
The guy who did A Ghost Story is more pretentious, I guarantee you.
Wow.
He could easily out Fellini that. Yeah.
Fellini.
Exactly. Give it a go, you'll see what I'm talking about.
I know you're chomping at the bit to get that one started.
Yeah. And this is cool. This is cool. So I was talking about Sentai, and the coolest centerpiece of Sentai's current sale is the fact that a lot of their premium edition sets are really, inexpensive compared to what they normally are. I have to put that qualifier because they're still
I
expensive.
think I'm down to $50.
Yeah, well, about 52 or so.
Yeah.
And the one I got over the weekend was 50. And you'll see, I've ordered 2 of them, and you will see them in our upcoming pickups. But the first Sentai Premium Edition I got was one I paid full price for. And we have mentioned it many times on this site. And we did a preview for it, and then they delayed the release. And then we did a preview for it this week. You'll see it if you watch our preview video. But it actually arrived exactly. It was due at the end of November, and it has been pushed to the end of December. And we still ended up both getting it the same day, exactly right in the middle. And I ordered direct from Sentai. He ordered from Right Stuff. We got it the same
They
day.
ship using the same process.
They do. Sentai uses Right Stuff's factory, so it's really kind of about the same. But it is a show that we have been wanting for a long time,
Yeah.
called Ika Musume, aka The Squid Girl. And The Squid Girl is a 2-season series, but look at that box. Look at the box! It's like, that is a sturdy, big box.
I
It
like
looks
how
good on the shelf.
The water's all shiny.
It is, yeah, the water's all shiny on the back. You can't really see it in the lighting. But anyway, but that is a sturdy set. And it basically, the show centers around Ika Musume,
Yep.
Squid Girl, who is a dingbat, but she's basically a squid who has become human in order to conquer the surface world, to make humans pay for polluting the ocean. So I love her goal. I love her reason for doing what she's doing. Unfortunately, she immediately wrecks the restaurant Lemon House that's owned by the Aizawa sisters. And Chizuru, in particular, forces her into service as a waitress at the restaurant. Yeah, she fails in her mission almost immediately. And it becomes kind of a comedy of errors where every now and then Squid Girl will go off on a mission to, and she's so easily distracted and just doesn't, she's a real nice character, this one, I think her name was Eiko, is actually very kind-hearted and treats her well.
Except physically violent.
Except physically violent. You could kind of compare these to the Tendo sisters, where she could be a Kane, but nicer and more, not quite as violent. And she could be definitely the cross between Kasumi and Nabiki. Because she has that mercantile mindset, but she's also the very kind, unflappable, if you get her riled up, run for the hills kind of character. But it's a fun show. And Media Blasters released the first series and then completely dropped the ball on season 2.
Yeah.
And the OVAs never got a release either. And I was thrilled that Sentai picked up the full package and released it as a full package. We both owned the old Media Blasters release of season 1.
Not long for me.
Not long for you. I don't know what I'll end up doing with it. I might try to sell it off, but it's not going to be worth much.
Yeah.
I think Right Stuff actually had one of them on their sale for dirt cheap. But this is it's the first time on Blu-ray for the series. But what I really wanted to do, this is my first Sentai Premium set, and I had to open it to see what they really look like. And so I'm going to do an unboxing here just to give you an idea of what you can get. This, like I said, sturdy chipboard box. You got DVD pack and Blu-ray pack. Kind of separate cases, just like with our Skip Beat stuff. And then, of course, you get all the discs inside. Kind of like that.
Sure.
I'll just pass them that way for now, and then you get a nice little hardcover book, which is actually, it's got like embossed cover. This is not usually a top selling point for me, but it's a nice, little bonus. There's lots of little artwork in there, nice pictures. There's a
Oh,
little
nice.
bit of bonus information about the characters.
Cool.
Very neat little book. And then you got this part. And this part is one of the two major disappointments with the series. This little box is very hard to figure out how to open without possibly damaging it.
Why would you open it?
Well, because it's got stuff in it. And you can open it. It's kind of like when they did the limited edition sets for Lucky Star back in the day. Set 1 opens easily. It's got a magnetic cover, but all the others you have to open each time, and it damages them.
Not damaging
It's
your
very
boxes.
annoying. But it's got buttons of the main
Yay!
characters.
Buttons.
Little keychain, Ikamuzume keychain. A pack of art cards, which I haven't opened yet, and I haven't decided if I want to do that really.
A cat.
A lenticular card. Of one of the things is Ikamuzume spits up ink, and they use
That's a
it
good
in
one.
the restaurant. Certificate of authenticity to show that it is indeed a limited edition set. And the certificate of donation, which, listen up, humans. This document certifies that you are a lifesaver, a guardian of the sea. And it's a donation to an ocean conservancy.
Pick up your soy sauce packet there.
But the big disappointment is that it's a freaking $1 donation.
Oh, please. Yeah. I can
Yeah,
do
I
that.
mean, we paid enough for this set that they could have easily made a $10 donation and still
Yeah.
made a great profit. And so, boo on you, Sentai. That it was a shame. But we still give you points for at least making a donation. So,
Bait and switch.
it's better than it could have been. I mean, not as good as it could have been, but it's better than it could have been. You know what I mean?
She'd hunt them down and punish them for their audacity.
If she could find her way there. That's the big thing. But anyway, so there's that. That's the big one for this week. And again, I don't know I'm going to do unboxings for the other limited sets because it's mostly that kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like you get all the fancy stuff and then you get your assortment of goodies. But still, we make the point on our preview list this week, that's a limited set. That's
that is a
a
very
collection.
good limited
That's a collector's item.
Yeah.
This is one reason we rag on Aniplex so much and why we like NIS and why we like Sentai. Even Funimation and Viz do a better job with
Yeah.
their limited sets than Aniplex does, and all of them do a better job with price point. So, yeah.
I've got one too that also is very good on the price point, but I'm not doing the unboxing today due to time constraints. But you will get to see it. You will see an unboxing later on. And of course, I'm talking about Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Man, unbox that.
Long haul.
Oh, man, one of the most acclaimed films of the last couple of years, man.
So this particular one I got because I finally went down to my price point over Black Friday, which was like $1.98 at Walmart. And
From what I hear, that was a little bit more than you should have paid.
well, I've got the other three films, and the first film was actually good, and it's based off of a book series that is pretty good.
Pretty darn popular
Very
book
popular.
series. Yeah.
The other ones it's kind of like they keep going downhill. And I think this is where they hit rock bottom, and this is probably the end. Which is fine by me. I found out it came out, and my first thought was, oh my god, there's a fourth one. I'm going to find out how to get this. When that's your response, it's time to pack up. It really is.
Okay.
That's my... You know.
All right. So, my next grouping, I specifically saved for this one because we're doing 10 items and it was 6 items and I wanted to make sure I could get them all in one.
Yeah.
Post Black Friday, I went to Best Buy to see what they still had going on. Very dangerous practice, there it is. They still had a few good things and a couple of them were pretty awesome. But one thing they had was they had a display of movies where it was buy one, get one. but they were really well priced to begin with.
Yeah.
And 2 of them I got, I think were on sale for $8, but it might have been $9, I forget. But whatever the case, $8 or $9 for both movies.
Yeah.
Pretty good. And they're both Chris Pratt movies. So
Oh, well.
the first one you can look forward to is one that I saw most of. I think you were the reason I didn't see part of it. I had to step away from the TV to take a phone call. But I enjoyed what I saw, and that is this year's remake of The Magnificent Seven, which I don't know how many versions of this story have been made at this point. Don't know why we needed another one.
And here I thought you got The Hateful Eight.
But this is a pretty decent movie. Pratt co-stars along with, you got Denzel Washington, Vincent D'Onofrio, Peter Sarsgaard, you got what's his face? Ethan Hawke. And all of them in a movie by Antoine Fuqua, who directed Hawke and Washington in Training Day, which was, of course, a very good film. He's worked a couple times with Washington since then. It was a pretty entertaining film. It's not quite as good as the original Magnificent Seven, and nowhere near as good as the original The Seven Samurai. But it's a really good story that has been told many, many times. And if you want to see it told one more time with a recognizable cast of current actors, you could do worse than to watch this one.
Well, if True Grit has taught us anything, a retelling can sometimes even improve upon the source material.
Right.
Sometimes.
Well, this is not quite True Grit level, but you know.
Sometimes.
But, you know, for $4 or $4.50 or however much I paid, it was well worth that.
So, this week, actually, tomorrow, Tuesday, the 19th, at 9:30 Central, or 10:30 Eastern Standard Time, like we're used to, Movies Galore, Inside Movies Galore, is going to be doing a movie discussion on a particular film. And that film is Dismembering Christmas.
Lovely.
Now, this is being done because the original site is Movies Galore of Milwaukee, and this is a creator based out of Wisconsin. Now, there's 2 films, and you'll probably be seeing the next one on the next pickup video. But this one is alright. It's about a bunch of people who go on holiday, and a serial killer stalks them and starts killing them all. One scene in particular which I thought was interesting is that this woman's building a snowman. She's kind of using a celery stick, of all things, to hollow out like the face. And so then this candy cane looks like it's made, you know, how you can take it to a point. It just sticks out where the nose is. And she just looks, okay. And then it goes out and stabs her. To me, that's probably the most iconic scene in this. It's decent for your typical, you know, people around, they get killed by X whatever.
Say hello to Irving our Putty Stick.
But it does have some callbacks to the original Friday the 13th, a few other slasher type films. I do believe in supporting small creators, as many of you know who have watched this channel, and I know you know because I've forced a lot of small creators on you. So this particular is fun. One of these days I'm going to have to do an X-Strike video, which is going to be about the X-Strike movies.
Edward freaking Lindsay.
I've actually been in touch with them, so they've said that, you know, when I do it I can give them a shout out.
You can give me a copy of that one. What was it, Resident Horror?
Actually, if you go on X-Strike's site, most of their new movies are still available for $5 a DVD.
I need
so
to look
go to
at
their
that.
site, you know, while it's still up and running, you know, if you want to get some of those. Matter of fact, you know, X-Strike Studios, Google it. I'll see if I can remember to get a link down there. Get a hold of these movies while you can. They make excellent gifts. If I hadn't spent through most of the money of this, I probably would have gotten more to give as gifts, and probably will in the future if they remain up. So, with that being said, on G.
Good deal. All right, for the second part of that buy one, get one, another Chris Pratt film that came out last year that I was really looking forward to, if only because of the co-star.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm there. And then the movie
I
came
wanna
out
see that,
and
yeah.
got middling praise at best. Scored 2 Oscar nods in below-the-line categories, but a lot of people had issues. This is a movie called Passengers. It's a sci-fi film, basically a deep space film where they play Voyagers heading to a new destination, and Pratt awakes from cryosleep way sooner than he was supposed to. 90 years sooner, I believe.
Oops.
And they give away a lot of the plot in the trailer,
Yeah, they do too much.
which
of
is
that these days.
unfortunate. But it was really unfortunate for this movie because it drove people away in droves. Because this movie was very controversial in the fact that he makes the choice to wake her up. And she didn't have a choice in that. So a lot of people took issue with that, and including her character when she finds out. I'm giving a lot away, but most of that was in the trailer.
Sad.
Yeah, it is still a gorgeous film. Very, very, very. The visuals. I think it was up for maybe visual effects. I feel like it was up for the music. It definitely was a visually appealing, audio appealing film. The acting is pretty solid. They are both great actors. I'm a big fan of both. I do admit that plot point is touchy. But I was more than happy to add this for a low price to my collection. It is an essential get eventually. Just be aware going in that if you have issues with the quote lack of agency plot point, it will color your look at the film. But if you just want to see a pretty sci-fi film, then by all means you'll love it. Yeah.
So, this next one is a classic. I got it for a cheap cart topper. And this is Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. Now, for those of you who haven't seen this classic,
I'm not sure I have.
it is a fun watch. Basically, you've got this family, and you got Christina Applegate, and their babysitter basically, well, dies while their mother's away. So they've got to go and try and cover this up and find their mother. And various hilarity ensues. It's a classic. I'm just glad to get it. Very cheap. Glad to have it in the collection.
Speaking of classics, this was also part of that buy one get one sale. Like I said, I'm working my way through 6 titles. This was the higher price point, $10. Still, 2 Blu-rays for $10. That's still a pretty good deal. And this one, I'm hoping, is going to be a good buy. It's an older film. I cannot vouch for the quality of the Blu-ray upgrade until I've watched it. This is one that I held off on as well because I actually had it in my VHS collection, and I actually had a really nice collector's edition set.
Oh.
And when I converted it, I wanted to make sure that it was converted to a nice collector's edition. But it's an Oscar-winning film from the late 80s called Glory.
I need to get that myself.
It is a really good film. I believe Denzel Washington won supporting actor, and I think it won a second award. I can't remember. But anyway, you've also got Morgan Freeman, Carrie Oles, and Matthew Broderick. I mean, that's a pretty solid cast. It's of course a Civil War set film, and basically, if I remember correctly, mostly takes place in South Carolina. Have you seen this one, or do you?
No, not seeing it.
Oh, no. Won 3 Oscars: supporting actor, cinematography, and sound. So yeah, if you've never seen it, you got to see it. But again, I'm just hoping the Blu-ray transfer is worthwhile. You know, I would hate for it to turn out to be a crappy edition that I need to go back and get a DVD. But this still essentially $5. You know, 2 movies for 10, and the other one's a new release. I'll get to that in a minute. But this is definitely one I needed to upgrade to my collection. I'll have another VHS floating around. I have an idea what I may do with some of my VHSs, but I just don't use them anymore.
Yeah.
But definitely that's a classic I was very happy to get. Yeah.
So our next one is an oldie but goodie, I guess. This particular set is out of print. I wanted it because I wanted to get all 3 films in one swoop, and finally, as I was looking through, I saw it was under $10, which is something I had to jump on. And that is the Ace Ventura Collection. This has all 3 movies. That includes Ace Ventura: Pet Detective Jr., which was a much more recent release. It was in the 2000s, starring a kid, I guess, I couldn't figure out whether his father was Ace Ventura or whether he was supposed to be Ace Ventura. But they star Jim Carrey as the pet detective. And I realized that the first film, after rewatching the first 2 and then watching the third one for the first time, the first one isn't that bad.
Yeah.
He actually does a pretty good job with it. The scene at the very beginning where you just go around kicking around that fragile box is just hilarious. And unfortunately hits it close to the home at the same time. And it was fun. I really did enjoy the first film. The second film, I feel like they really overdid the character. It was like he was already a larger-than-life character, and they decided, you didn't put enough energy into it. Be more annoying. And that's what he was for the whole
You were too restrained.
movie. He was constantly annoying. There is a part at the beginning where these monks are celebrating him leaving, and by the end of the movie, I understood why. I wanted him gone.
It took you till the end?
Well, I mean... no, it didn't.
I think I saw When Nature Calls, but I blocked it from my mind.
I
I admit I loved the first one when I was younger. I mean, that really put Jim Carrey on the map, and he spent 15 years trying to convince everyone
that he wasn't this character.
Yes. And now he's just kind of faded into the background. Every now and then he pops out from the shadows, but man, he's a good actor. He just unfortunately started on such a strange foot.
Yeah. He's a good character actor. Yeah. He really does. He kind of reminds me a bit of Robin Williams with his energy and his ability to do. It's just he got some bad roles. The third one is a straight to video thing, yet I still like the third one better than I did the second one. And that's saying something. Jim Carrey's not even in that one, and I was like, this kid's much less annoying than Jim Carrey is in the second movie. So, if you're not a completionist, an OCD person when it comes to collecting it, I am, get the first movie. I think the first movie is released on Blu-ray, though the others are not. The first movie is actually gettable. These are harder to get in a set together. Go that way, ignore the others, pretend they didn't exist.
Alright, and my next one, as I said, is a newer release. Actually, it's from this year. And so getting it essentially for $5, not bad at all. It's a film that I actually own the first film on Blu-ray, and this gives me a perfect... I think I commented on this one on one of our previous videos after watching it, and going, man, I should have watched mine and then watched it. But now I'm like, no, I'll just watch both copies together. But it's the new film from Danny Boyle, T2 Trainspotting.
Ooh.
This is the 20 years later sequel to Trainspotting, which came out not long after Ace Ventura, but was worlds apart in terms of
Much better than that. Yeah. I've heard mixed reviews about that movie.
This one?
Yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was... I have not seen Trainspotting in probably 5 or 6 years, but I feel like this was a very good sequel. It really did kind of... It picked up 20 years later and just kept going. It felt very much like the original. And I will admit that one of the ways they did that, and some people may have thought this was overdone, but I thought it was interesting, is they spliced a lot of scenes from the original into the new one, but they did it in a way that was... They were like organically a part of the film. They were brought in as like flashback sequences, but almost more like hallucinations, you might say. Even though most of these characters are comparatively clean compared to the first film.
That's not hard.
That's not hard. If you are not familiar with Trainspotting, it's a film about drugs.
Yeah.
That's the simplest way to put it. It's a bunch of ne'er-do-wells in England who don't go through life in a... They go through life in a haze.
Yeah.
And it ends up, in the very end of the film, it ends in a way where they go their separate ways. And this film, one of the plot themes of this one is the fallout from the end of the first film. That's one of the main themes. I thought it was a pretty good movie. It was a solid film. As sequels go, it's pretty nice to see a film that feels like an organic sequel and not just like we want to do a sequel to make more money. You know, they waited 20 years and put it out, and it does not feel like a cash grab. It feels like Danny Boyle said, it's time to come back to the story. So, yeah. But again, this and Glory for 10... That's a hell of a buy. I was very impressed. This was actually on the rack when I did my buy one, get one for Girl on the Train and Edge of 17. And I'm glad I put it back because I got it much cheaper. So there you go. Patience is good.
So you kind of start with anime. I'm kind of moving into anime territory, and I'm going to be staying there for the last of the 6.
Oh, I'm coming back to it.
And... The next 5 entries are going to be from Sentai's sale. My last foray into Sentai for a long time. And this starts with the comic artist and his assistants. So you can see over there, looks like a nice little harem series about this comic artist who's surrounded by these beautiful women who
Just
are
look
helping
at the
him.
joy on his face.
And... So, I am curious. It was extremely cheap. It's 12 episodes and 6 OVAs in one package. So, very much worth it, in my opinion. Of course, we'll see when I actually watch it, whether I think it's worth it. I mean, I felt like that about Oni too, but until I watched it and then realized, oh my,
And most of these he has coming up are ones that I considered getting. That was one I considered getting, and I believe it is on my Christmas list. So we'll see if I end up getting it. I know a couple of these are, and a couple of them I own. I just haven't watched yet. But this next one is one that I have not watched yet. I wanted to watch it prior to Suicide Squad because it's by the same director, David Ayer. Also, it's a well-rated, well-regarded film with Brad Pitt and Shia LaBeouf and some other folks. It's called Fury. And it is probably one of the films that got Ayer the job of doing Suicide Squad. And so, it may be one of the films we can blame for Suicide Squad. I have heard good things about this film. Not so much Suicide Squad. I have wanted to see this. I will watch it and see if it's a coherent story that is well directed. Then I will know that Ayer was indeed not the main reason for the failure of Suicide Squad. I like to think that he wasn't, because he has gotten so much good press.
Oh,
But
it was.
this was potentially the coolest buy from that Best Buy visit. This and the other DVD Blu-ray pack I got were $6. So I got this movie basically for $3. So $3 on Blu-ray, that's a pretty good price. And again, I like Brad Pitt. I'm a fan of his. I think Shia LaBeouf is well known to be batshit insane, but
Yeah.
he is a good actor. And I've just heard good things about this, so I'm looking forward to giving it a go eventually. Yeah.
So, all of the time on my Facebook feed, I'm a member of a lot of anime-related groups.
Mhm.
There's one that always comes up. If you had a portal to the anime world, where would you go? And I'm always conflicted about that because many places in the anime world I don't want to go to. Haven't you always wanted to go to the world of Attack on Titan? No.
No.
How about When They Cry? No. Bleach? No. It's just keep me away from many of those. But one of our people gets just that in Hinako, which I have been very interested in for a while since we did our summary of this release. It's actually a fairly new one.
Mhm.
It's not a lot.
I was going to say, I
It's,
wasn't a long while.
3 episodes,
Mhm.
but it was very, very cheap.
It was,
on
what,
sale.
11?
Yeah. So
Which is, for a Blu-ray is not bad.
I saw this and I said, okay, I'm curious.
Hmm.
The topic intrigued me, though. The more I look at this, the more I'm thinking to my yeah.
That's made in Japan?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This looks like it's closer to a hentai than it is to an actual series. But, yeah.
Which is one reason I don't think that one's on my Christmas list.
It also has
I'm tempted, though.
including the videos of training with Hinako, sleeping with Hinako, and bath time with Hinako. Yeah.
Good one to watch with the wife, right?
Yeah, of course, I'm sure.
Okay, and then the next one, and this one's awesome. Again, buy one, get one. This was the one paired with Fury. $6 for both. So, for essentially $3, I got the Men in Black trilogy.
Oh.
All 3 films for $3.
There we
And I honestly cannot remember if I have the first one. I don't think I have the second one. I know I don't have the third one. And I know I've never seen the third one. I think I've seen the second one, and I know I've seen the first one. I think we discussed this. There was very recently a Men in Black trilogy package release that we did in our preview videos, and we talked about the series, so you can watch that video for our take on it. But getting all of these this cheap, I had no
compact,
idea
too.
that was going to
I
happen.
got one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got
that's
that
nice
sent
and
myself.
compact. Yeah,
More than you
Yeah.
paid, though.
but
not
have
too
you
bad.
watched it yet?
I haven't watched my copy,
'Cause,
but
this is another one where I'm worried about the quality of the transfer until I see
I
it.
have seen the Blu-ray
But-
releases of all 3 of those.
Yeah.
And even if it's the earliest release, they did a pretty good job on
Okay.
the transfer.
Okay.
I mean,
It's mostly the first movie I'm worried about, because
Yeah.
that was, what, 97?
yeah, the transfer's
Yeah.
decent on it.
Okay.
I've seen. I mean, I don't know whether that one got a better transfer, but
Right.
even if it's like the old one, it's pretty good. It's not like the Highlander transfer.
But yeah, very excited to have that one. I'm going to probably have to have a Men in Black Day sometime in the next month or so.
Well, actually, speaking of getting a bunch in one, I got this, which is the Little Busters, all of that series.
Mm-hmm.
So that includes Little Busters Season 1.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got Little Busters Season 2. Then Little Busters Refrain. And then finally Little Busters EX.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this series, if I remember correctly, has a pretty decent pedigree.
Well, it's Junmaida Key, which is basically the team behind Air and Clannad
Yeah,
and Canon.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
This one seems a little bit lighter hearted
right,
than that. It doesn't have nearly the rating.
right.
But you can tell by the visuals that there is some similar style
Mhm.
in it. I mean, there is a lot of similarity. I am looking forward to watching this and digging into the series.
And if it does keep up with the other previous ones, it should have some pretty awesome
Yeah.
music. I do own the first series. I want to get the sequels, but I just haven't gotten them yet. And I didn't feel like the prices this go around were earth-shattering, so
Yeah.
I didn't really jump on them. But I would like to get that whole series and watch it one of these days. I think one of the reasons I haven't watched the first season is I don't have the sequels, so you know. But I do have a little bit of anime to end on. This is one that I hemmed and hawed and delayed for a while because I really, really wanted the premium set. I have the premium set of the first season. I have the premium set of the movie. I ordered the premium set of season 2 and couldn't get it because of timing, and it sold out before I could afford it. I finally got the standard edition. I have spoken on this set before about Love Live School Idol Project.
I keep turning it
That's
down.
season 2. It is a delightful show. Truly, I've only seen the first season. I am debating whether I'm going to launch into this right away or rewatch season 1 because it's been about a year since I saw it. Also, I need time.
Yeah.
But I watched the entire first season in a day. I was sick and it was rainy outside and I had a sick day at home and I put it on and it was so addictive. I watched the whole thing in one sitting. It's such a fun show. We have talked about it on this channel before. It's basically about a bunch of girls who decide to, well, a couple girls slowly talk everyone into joining them. They form a idol group called Muse, basically to save their school. Their school is about to go under. They figure if they can get a nationally ranked idol group, it will save the school. So it's got a nice little underdog feel to it and a nice little kind of, it's just a cheery, warm-hearted, there's not much fan service. Very, very cute character designs. It's very colorful, but not a whole lot of fan service. And most of the CGI is well integrated.
Oh, that's good.
A lot of people thought the dance scenes were a little clunky, but I didn't think they were that bad. And of course, being about idols, there's lots of insert songs. The pop music is pretty good overall. So I have not yet seen season 2, but now that I finally have it, I can watch it and the movie, and I'm very much looking forward to that.
Well, here's another one that we talked about on there that was new but got a fairly decent discount, though a short one. And that is The Dragon Dentist. It just intrigues me. It was not that expensive.
It was 15?
Yeah, which is not bad for a new release on Blu-ray, especially with anime. It's 2 episodes, but again, it is kind of cool to see. I don't have much to say about this one, so I will.
I was tempted on that one. I didn't think it was cheap enough to really jump on it this time, but maybe next year.
I will be back.
Yeah. But and incidentally, that Love Live set I think was 30. Is that right, or 25? Which is a very, very decent price for the NIS. That was an NIS standard set. This is also an NIS standard set. Let's pause just for a second. Okay, so another NIS series that I have wanted for some time, where I think there was a premium set, but I think it's long since sold
long
out.
gone.
Yeah, but I've been wanting. I think we watched the first episode of this, didn't we?
I don't remember, but
it's a show with a very fun title. It's called Ground Control to Psychoelectric Girl.
how many episodes is it?
It's a
It's fairly
13 episodes. So it's a series that, yeah, it's not a long series, but it's their typical standard edition release for a DVD Blu-ray combo pack, which actually I think is the first of those I have for NIS. It's obviously double thickness versus the single thickness of Love Live, which is one thing that's even more disappointing with those big boxes I had and then had that little dinky thing. But this one's a double edition. They had a few series where if they had a premium, it was such a limited run that it disappeared right away. Another one on my list is Occult Academy. This one bugs me because I think I bought it and then they dropped the price. Their sale, they have a weird thing where they've been ticking up the price as the sale goes on. But this one, I swear, they ticked it up and then dropped it again.
Yeah.
And I paid $36, I think, but now it's $35.
Yeah.
I'm very annoyed about that. But at any rate, this is a really fun little series from what I've seen. Look forward to seeing the whole thing.
So, our next up is another I got a lot of 3-episode ones.
Huh.
And they're all harem-y, except for maybe Dragon Dentist, which is Indian Summer. I don't know what it is about this particular one, but it was extremely cheap on the Sentai sale. And I just thought cart topper. That was really it for that.
I think I got that as cart topper when it was like $8 or $9, and I think it's half
Yes,
that
half
now.
that now. It was like really cheap. I would not have gotten it for even that. So I just say, okay.
It was one of those ones, we've talked about this before, where they keep going on sale every year, and every year we put them back and put them back. Next year. Eventually get it. Yeah. Okay, my last one is also an NIS. I actually got one order that was 3 NIS items, so it worked out nicely for this thing. And it's a show that I think you have both.
I have both premiums for it.
This is 2 sales in a row where Right Stuff has put up only the first series. I'm wondering if NIS even has a standard for the second season.
I hope so.
I hope so. But he got a show that looked really cute and really fun, and I've heard great things about it.
Fun.
And I want to see it. And I finally got season 1 on standard edition, and it's called Nyaruko Crawling with Love. And my understanding is that it's basically a cutesy, harem-y riff on the Cthulhu mythos, right?
It's as if, okay, basically it's, they treat it as if the Cthulhu mythos, they're actually aliens.
Mm-hmm.
And many of them are alien, like police force, and she's like one of the major ones set to protect the guy that's there. So it's a harem, but it's a fun harem. I enjoy it. I can't wait to watch it again.
Very popular show that I've heard a lot about. And again, I hope the second season is still in print, because I want to have both seasons. And it bugged me that I missed my chance to get the premium sets. But I mean, this is still going to look really fun on the shelf. It's so colorful. And again, I'm disappointed that it's a single disc width. But I can just imagine it being like a Sentai series. And it was only $25, which for an NIS set is not that bad. And it puts it actually cheaper than your typical Sentai purchase when they're not on sale. So
actually, what's funny is that my only foray into the Right Stuff sale, I've been pretty good. But the only foray has been Aniplex titles and NIS titles. And some... Like, the only other titles together don't even come to $20. That's the interesting thing.
Yeah, I can't say that. I've got a couple more orders coming. The last one I placed is entirely Funimation. Oh. And I have one coming up that's heavy on Viz. So we'll have some more pickups coming from those.
In the new year.
Yes, in the new year.
So this last one, we're talking about premium editions.
Yes.
So I'm saving the best for last. We started on a high note. We're going to end on a high note. And,
he's going to get a workout.
We've got the Gundam Wing Collector's Ultra Edition. This is the Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. Mm-hmm. For those of you who are familiar with the old Toonami days, this was a big, big thing. And this
still
is
is.
a big box.
Yes.
It has all like 50 episodes of the Gundam Wing series.
Nice.
And it has the OVA and the movie. So that's a lot of Blu-rays. That's 13 Blu-rays in this set. Has booklets. It is art, other things. I am going to do an unboxing later on, but I said this. I just gotta. I mean, just this big old box. Look how big this thing is.
I want that set.
It's bigger than my head. That's pretty impressive. I got a pretty big head, as many people tell me on this show. But yeah, this is a giant set. It costs an arm and a leg, but I paid for like way back when they first allowed for the pre-orders. So it's not coming back to bite me. I've already paid for it, but it is pretty solid. I'd say worthwhile. Can't wait to do the unboxing.
Nice.
So otherwise, this is going to be the end of our holiday extravaganza, which we unfortunately have to say goodbye for a while. You'll still see some updates on the site, a couple of news updates, things like that, but
You're probably
this
gonna
is
have
the
a
last
whole
time
lot
that
of-
we're actually going to be meeting here in this placement, because I officially moved placements over Martin Luther King weekend, and that's, I think, the weekend. Let me see here. That's the second is first is Monday, so no. We will have one
I
show.
was gonna say.
We'll have one show between there, so one more show, and then we'll be changing things over. You're gonna see a
This
lot.
will probably be the last
scanter.
one with the tree. I'm
It
sure.
is the last one with the tree, so because Christmas is what, Monday,
Yeah.
so it's a week from today. So
Time
there.
flies.
But I have had fun doing this Christmas stuff. Unfortunately, because I'm trying to do more editing, I'm trying to make it a little bit more fun, show some pictures, do some things. I even came up and I met a few new friends. So take a look. They've been joining me in a lot of these videos, so they're kind of fun. But I've been enjoying putting in some movie clips and seeing some different angles in editing software. It was my big Christmas gift to myself, was just doing some movie editing software and seeing where it goes. We tried a big experiment last week, which failed horribly for one of them getting totally monetized by somebody else because of some songs in the background. The other one being pulled entirely because some of the trailers just violated too many of those.
So did you never go and submit it without the trailers?
No, I decided that it just looked too kind of awkward.
That's too bad. So if you wondered why we were missing a preview video, that's what that's about.
Yep, but
Yeah.
I am going to let you go for all of this, and we are happy to present our Christmas extravaganza this year, and we will see you again in the
Merry
new year.
Christmas and happy holidays in general, whatever they may
New
be.
Year's and whatever you celebrate. Getting a new car, whatever you want to do. So